Welcome back. All right, so I watched this so that others probably didn't, but I thought I'd have fun with it. So what I did with tonight's game, and I'll get to it after I've done the review, is commercials, tracking commercials. And keep in mind, this is on the Canadian side. I'd be interested to do this with American side of commercials because I think the results would be a little different. Anyway, it is Chicago at home against the Philadelphia Flyers, and it was every bit as good and crisp and turnover free as you would expect, which means lots of turnovers. So Sandstrom versus Lankin, and on the first shot that Sandstrom faces, it goes in. It's Gustafsson from Taves and Kubalik at 144, and it goes through Sandstrom. And it's one of those ones that he'd like to have back. The Hawks record when scoring first coming into this game, 21-7-6. So while the Hawks do not have a good record on any level, they're okay if they score first. Apparently they just don't score first often enough, which Hawks fans probably are nodding going, yeah, that sounds about right. The Hawks had momentum. Kubalik fires one wide. The Flyers then rush. Lankinen holds on that one. The shots are 3 apiece at 4 minutes. The Flyers get a power play. Tippett has a shot that's blocked. It's killed off. And then immediately after the power play is done for Philadelphia, Chicago scores. And it's on a turnover by Brink. It's Taves from Lafferty at 6:15. It was a breakaway on that turnover, and it's the fourth shot. DeBrincat then has a rush chance that deflects out, and eventually Flyers, they get on the board. It's Hayes from Lawton and Konechny at 8:03. It was a 2-on-1 after a turnover. So it is remarkable how many goals in the NHL are scored on turnovers. It's one of those things that, at some point I should track this kind of thing and see how often that happens, or somebody's got to be tracking that somewhere, right? So shots are 9-5 for the Flyers at 9 minutes, which I didn't think told the whole story about how the game was going. The Hawks get a power play. Gustafsson has a chance that's held. That's killed off. 2 shots allowed. Kubalik then has a chance that's saved and held. The momentum was on the side of the Chicago Blackhawks. Kurashev has a rush chance that's saved. The Hawks press. Then there's a power play for the Flyers. Frost is denied. Provorov has a chance that deflects wide. That's killed off. Just the one shot. Lawton's then denied on a break. And Sandstrom, I thought, had a good first period after that first goal. The second goal he had no chance on. But after that first goal, he bounced back all right. So we go to the second period. Early press by the Flyers. DeBrincat then had a rush chance that fired wide. Seth Jones fires one high and wide. Hitting the net was a problem at times tonight. Broken passes by both teams at this point. Turnovers, even the announcers mentioned at one point the amount of turnovers we were seeing. Cates had a wraparound that wouldn't go. Hayes was denied on a rush. There's a post for Konechny as the Flyers press. Then there's a delay game call. Because the Hawks were so tired, they eventually just fired it out. So there's a Flyers power play. Sanheim has a blast that's saved during that. That was killed off. And then DeBrincat, a turnover, and he was denied, or he couldn't bury on a turnover opportunity. Lafferty then had a rush chance that was blocked, and then I had to make this as a note. They talked a lot about Bobby Brink. There's a lot of young players in this game, and I understand Bobby Brink and the NCAA win and all that. They talked a lot about Bobby Brink. There was a ton of, he needs to be given prime time. He needs to be given these opportunities. He needs. He's in his 8th NHL game, and I think the Flyers are gradually bringing him into the lineup. And as you've noticed up here, that's a Brink turnover that leads to that goal. So it's possible that after that, Mike Yeo was trying to make sure that he wasn't putting him out too much and wasn't risking, the defensive aspect problem here. But it was interesting to me because there was a lot of talk about Bobby Brink, even though there were a lot of young players in both lineups. DeBrincat then had a chance that was saved. There's a press by the Hawks with 6 minutes left. The Flyers get zone time, but they're not getting shots. JVR then had a chance that was blocked. 3:44 left. The Hawks get a power play. Music played as they came back from a commercial, which I thought was weird because you can see in the background that the game has started back up. The face-off's gone on. We're still hearing the ESPN music. And they figured it out after about 15 seconds. So you miss about 10 seconds of the power play if you're not eagle-eyed and realizing the game's back on. So then there was more talk about Bobby Brink. So sure. Strome then had a chance that goes wide. Kurashev fires one wide. That's killed off. Then there was a post for Seth Jones. It's possible Dominic Moore has Brink on his fantasy team. It was one of the things that occurred to me. So 15 to 7.9 seconds left. Dominic Moore was the color announcer for the ESPN Plus broadcast. So 57.9 seconds left. There's a power play for the Hawks. Then we go to a commercial. And this drives me crazy. It is one of the things that they do in the NHL now that drives me insane is commercials with less than a minute left in the period. So they go to commercial, they come back, and then they go back to commercial again. So DeBrincat can't bury one in that final 57.9, so it rolls over into the third period. Third period, Radish has a chance that's saved and held. The Flyers do finish the kill, but it managed 5 shots. So again, Sandstrom really bounces back from that rough start. Yandel fires one high as the Flyers press. There's some pushing and shoving at 2:10. And that was the first I could recall seeing it during the game. There was not a lot of emotion in this game. They're both teams that are out of the running, and there just wasn't that really fierce desire in this game. That would show up a little later. Yandel fires one high as the Flyers press, or I already said that. Hawks press, draw another power play. Kane was denied. DeBrincat fans on one. Kane then fires one wide. It's cleared out, and it's killed off. Tyler Johnson then fires one wide, and then DeBrincat hits the net. He scores from Kane and Strome at 7:45. That makes it 3-1. That's after a 3-on-2 that set that up nicely for Chicago. Frost then had a rush chance that was saved as the Flyers do try to answer. Tippett fires wide on a rush. There was a press by the Flyers, but it was short, and then the Hawks rush it right back out to the other end. So they did this nice little, really, really short, but they gave kind of a tip of the hat. Cheers to Pat Foley, who's, of course, retiring after, I think it said 39 years for Chicago. So Chicago's already, made the big deal of Pat Foley retiring, and all the best to him, and I thought it was a nice acknowledgement from ESPN. With 9:09 left, the Hawks get a power play. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Thompson that was saved and knocked high. And then there's a shorthanded chance for Sanheim that's shot wide. So it's killed off by Philadelphia. Then there's an exchange of rushes with 5 minutes left. JVR with kind of a net crash. It wasn't that bad, but it drew a bit of a crowd after that. The emotion kind of picks up late. The Flyers press with 4 minutes left. There's a goalie pull with 3 minutes left. And with 1:23 left, there's a power play. So it becomes a 6-on-4. So it's a 2-man advantage for Philadelphia with the goalie pulled, but it means that Chicago can ice the puck and not actually have an icing called against them. So that really worked to their benefit for that final 1:23. There was a post for Brink and then a pile up at the net afterwards. Lankinen kind of planks or snow angels. And there's bodies in the crease just trying to cover up that puck, and they pull everybody out. So Toronto wants to make sure that it didn't enter the net. Doesn't look like it did. The review showed that it's possible across the line, but you never saw it cross the line. And I don't think it went in anyways. So, yeah, there was no conclusive evidence the puck entered the net, so it stays 3-1. Taves has an empty net goal that's blocked. Then Farabee cross-checks Lafferty, and it was a dangerous cross-check. So Lafferty, understandably upset, decides, I'm going to punch this guy. So he did. So they both end up being, sent to the dressing room because it's 4-on-4. Or it normally would be 4-on-4. It's already a 6-on-4 power play, so they don't make it 5-on-3. But with both of them getting penalties in the final minute, they both go to the locker room. But yeah, I think for Lafferty, I think it was kind of, this is worth it. So matching penalties keep it 6-on-4, and Chicago, while they had a couple of opportunities late, the Flyers block it out, but they don't get a goal themselves. So Chicago with the 3-1 win, they go to 27, 42, and 11. On the Philadelphia side, they're 25, 44, and 11. So really, this is a game that if you're into the whole draft lottery side of things, this was really interesting. The shots are 14-13 Philadelphia in the first, 9-7 Chicago in the second, 13-11 Philadelphia in the third. Final shots 34-33 Philadelphia. Power plays, the Flyers 0-4, Chicago 0-5. On the hits side of things, 15-14 Chicago. So not a ton of hits. Sandstrom, as I said, recovered from that rough start. 30 saves on 33 shots. Lankinen was very solid, 33 saves on 34 shots. If you're wondering, so this was a weird one too. It's the ESPN Plus feed, and it was Rogers Hometown Hockey with 2 American teams, but they had Martin Jones as the spotlight guy because they were in North Van. So gambling ads, by my count, during this game, there were 7. 2 for Bet365, 2 for BetRivers.ca, and 3 for ScoreBet, which I'm pretty sure it's the ScoreBet. And again, this is, I believe, the Ontario version of Sportsnet I was watching, and then there's all the other ads. So if you're thinking there's a lot, well, Scotiabank had 3, all in the first period. Expedia had that same commercial with Ewan McGregor 4 times. The Boston Pizza one about your kids are salad people 5 times. Five times. Sobeys, they have the quick little commercial because they're sponsors 6 times. The Skip the Dishes, we got the woman who puts the clock ahead an hour and doesn't tell her own roommate that she's done so once. And then you got the Snoop Dogg commercials 3 times because Skip pays big money, I would think, to him. So you got to make sure that money goes somewhere. The Amazon Web Services, which really spotlights obnoxious children. There's 3 times that they played those commercials. So obnoxious. And the one that bothers me is, how do windmills power houses? They don't. Those are wind turbines. It's not a windmill. Use your web services. Turbines and windmills, they're completely different. Windmills are over in Holland. Go over there. Talk to the Dutch. Then they had the stupid Folgers commercial 3 times. I only say stupid because reputation. It's this really, rebellious song for Folgers coffee. The Hyundai commercials, there were 5 of them. They didn't show up till the second period, and then all of a sudden it was the Hyundai ones, which I've talked about before. They had the cup bracket one twice, but once on Sportsnet itself and once through the ESPN Plus feed. And the weird commercial that they're showing right now is the one without the Stanley Cup, where they show the guys like, what if there was no Stanley Cup? So as they're raising their hands, they just Photoshop out the Stanley Cup, and it shows them just raising nothing. And when I watch that commercial, honestly, what I think is, if the Stanley Cup hadn't been awarded to the NHL, if it hadn't have become a thing a century ago, there would have been another trophy. The NHL probably would have brought out a brand new, like a different trophy, but they would have made a trophy. It's not like teams would win a championship and then go, all right, cool, no cup. It's a bizarre commercial. They also had the cup commercial with the cup in it. So, although the cup's in the other one too, it just disappears. Yeah, and what else? They had commercials, the ESPN with the screen in screen too. The NHL green, Verizon, Dunkin', they had a little Dunkin' thing. Of course, we don't have Dunkin' here in Canada, so no point advertising to us. The Kit Kat Chunky commercial was only twice. I feel like I see that one a lot. The Brent Burns commercial. And L'Oreal for men. I always find it funny too when they're selling that and they're just like, it's for men. It's hair color. It's hair color. And then they had the Desjardins commercial 3 times in the third period. So if you ever wondered about the whole commercials thing, I thought, yeah, why not? I'm here. I might as well. And I also wanted to point out that there were no gambling promos. So there was the odds in this game I didn't see any face-off percentages, none of that. This one was pretty, for lack of a better term, was pretty clean that way. There wasn't really any over-the-top gambling stuff. And I would say that over a 2.5-hour broadcast, 7 commercials that are in reference to betting, that's not as bad. And it feels like if I do this with one of the broadcasts where you have the American commercials, it feels like there's a lot more advertising for gambling, especially the FanDuel Sportsbook, which had a big ad behind the net, the Chicago net. And I think it was the first and third. It was behind the Chicago net, behind the Philly net in the second. So huge ad, but there you go. I just thought, why not? It's not like there's a lot of people that are going to watch this review anyways. And so I want to have fun with it because I know that the people watching this are going to be your Hawks fans and Flyers fans maybe. And just people that watch my videos, watch them all. So there you go. I thought I'd do something different. And I was kind of happy there were no gambling promos. By which I mean the announcers talking about the odds. The announcers talking about, what they're saying. Right now, if you go on FanDuel, there was none of that. So, I thought that was okay. And it is weird, the hometown hockey, and there's no Canadian team involved, and there's only the one game. But anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts regarding this game or the commercials in the comment section below. And if I will say this, the other side of it is, watching American commercials and Canadians, not one Canadian commercial that was on here was funny, other than the sports, the score bet ones. Especially the, I'm not walking through that again. It's too bright and all that. It's just, yeah. Hey, bobblehead, get out of the, you guys know the commercial I'm talking about, right? All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's the only one that really makes me laugh. But there you go. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I'm also going to do another news video before tonight's out. Just something interesting that's going on, and yeah, I want to chat a little bit about it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I already said to hit like and subscribe, so you've already done that, right? Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.